In the meantime, it's back with Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou over in the desert of Saudi Arabia this coming Saturday night. Let's join Frank's UK promoter, Tyson's UK promoter, Frank Warren, who's in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for us. Frank, good afternoon. I think the press are today, so we're going to hear the two fighters at least speaking to the media who've made the trip, right?
That's correct, Jim. How are you? And Simon.
How are we? We're very good, thank you, Mr. Warren. Good. How are you?
I'm marvellous. Having the time of my life.
I mean, if we weren't banned, we might be with you.
You're not banned. Who says you're banned? I don't know where you get this ban from. You haven't bought the rights. The rights haven't been granted to you for broadcasting the fight. There's nothing to stop anybody from talkSPORT coming to the fight and reporting on it.
All right, well, get a hold of Tyson for us in the next 10 minutes, Frank. Let's do a chat with him before we go off air at 1 here. Can you do that for us?
Well, yeah, he's got nothing better to do at the moment. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's my understanding that because of some of the things my friend to my right has been saying, and I fully support him, that Tyson has decided he's not speaking to Simon Jordan and Jim White.
I don't know about, well, I don't know about, he doesn't want to speak to Simon. That's a fact. I didn't know he mentioned you, Jim, but certainly it's yourself and Adam Catterall, which is the main problem. But look, that's his choice and that's his prerogative. He's not obliged to speak to anybody he doesn't want to speak to. And the fact is, you know, you always have the last word. You know, as soon as the interview's finished, you can go on and make your comments, and that doesn't end too well. What has happened constantly since this fight has been announced, it's been total misinformation. And prior to that, the misinformation that was being put out regarding our endeavours to make the Usyk fight. And he's got absolutely peed off with it because he never dodged anybody, nor had the intention to. And now it's an accepted fact, except maybe by a couple of people at talkSPORT, that what we said is how it happened.
But you can't, Frank, with respect, you can't rewrite history because that's not what happened.
Who's rewrite?
Hang on, Frank. I just listened to your diatribe. What happened?
Well, let me listen to your diatribe.
Well, then let me say it then. Then you can critique it.
Let's compare diatribes.
Right. What was actually said was, on the back of Usyk's manager accusing Fury of ducking the fight, the observation was raised in context by me, if Fury ducks this fight, he should be ashamed of it. That's it. That's all. That's all that's been said.
Well, he didn't duck the fight.
But nobody said he did. The question was...
That's not quite true. That might have been the question, but the fact of life is, and I heard it certainly from Adam in an interview I did, and heard what he said before the interview I did. It was said that this fight should be going on, and it's because of Tyson, because if you remember, they said, we agreed to the 70-30, but we wanted more money, and he wanted
That's
this.
true. Yeah.
And that was just a lie, and it was untrue, and they went off and signed with Skill Challenge. And that's the reason.
And that's fine, Frank, and no one disputes that. But at the time...
Well, you didn't. No, at the time, at the time, it was not accepted. It's only been accepted now.
Because people have the benefit of knowledge, Frank. You don't get a God-given right to have your opinion taken as fact when someone else's opinion is something different.
And you don't have the God-given right to say your opinion is all that matters.
I didn't say it did, Frank.
But you're saying what I'm saying.
I'm saying what Usyk's management said, Frank. Listen to what I'm saying. Usyk's management accused you guys of ducking the fight. We opined on it. We said, simple, it's not difficult to follow, if Fury is ducking this fight, he should be ashamed of it. End of conversation. If Adam Catterall said something more than that, that's fine. But when people are throwing silly little diatribes around me about me, who's been a massive supporter of Tyson Fury's, from the winning of the Klitschko fight through to his reinvigoration, through to supporting me in the BBC when the BBC were wanting to put him into the Sports Person of the Year, through to everything, except when I've made a couple of observations that haven't been praiseworthy. And what you've got is a crybaby who's an embarrassment. And you should be embarrassed representing him if he wants to behave like this with a major broadcaster. It's embarrassing, Frank. He's a child.
Well, it's not embarrassed. It's not a child, and that's insulting. And, you know, maybe when you see him, you can tell him that to his face.
Quite happy to, Frank.
Well, I'll arrange it then.
Good.
Don't
do
worry,
that,
I'll get that when we come back. But the fact of life is, what you're saying, again, it's your opinion about... You don't know Tyson. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know how the man thinks.
It's childish behaviour,
and
Frank.
more importantly, What you say is childish behaviour. In what way is it childish behaviour? In
To
what way?
suggest that people are saying, people that have been hugely supportive of him, hugely
But
supportive. And you know I have, Frank. I've been huge. So a couple of derogatory things that he doesn't like, then turns around and says, "I'm going to ban a broadcaster." That's childish, Frank, and you know it is. And you won't say it because it's a cash cow for you.
Listen, what's the point of me on if you're not letting?
Well, go on.
On the radio about it. We've gone through it time and time again. The fact of the matter is, was said about what has really annoyed Tyson and me, because I got quite annoyed and had the arguments with.
I've heard you,
a little bit, and I had it over this because it was untrue, but that.
We're just losing his line. I mean, you would insist, Simon. I know you so well, but if you think you're right about something, you stick to it.
Are you back, Frank?
And what is stupid about this? Most stupid. All this time it's taken to make this fight. Oh, we're all ducking it. Do you know what? This is the quickest unification match that's been made ever. He only had the return with Joshua last year, so it's roughly about 14, 16 months to this thing being signed. Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson didn't fight for 10 years, and I can reel off loads and loads of fights like so. Please do not keep going
Frank,
on about Tyson ducking fights.
But no one is, Frank. The only person that observed it was based when you've got one camp saying one thing and another saying another, right? So what we had, so you get the context right, was somebody saying on the other side of the argument, Usyk's camp, that he ducked it. We questioned. We said, if he is ducking it, he should be ashamed. If, not he is, if. You then qualified it with me. You then told me the reasons why the Ngannou fight was coming on, and that's the end of the conversation. The rest of the background nonsense is people being childish and pathetic little YouTubers taking content from one of the mainstream broadcasters and using it as an opportunity to create division. You know that this platform brings 1.2 million viewers to your sport, and you should be supporting that rather than Tyson behaving like a child.
It's not about behaving like a child. I said that's how he feels. That's how he feels. He's got a fight coming up. There's no way I'm going to go and have. I
don't blame you on that instance.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be going. But irrespective of that, you know, he should get the kudos he should get for what he's done. He's done brilliantly as a fighter. He's probably the best heavyweight. He's certainly the best heavyweight.
He's been raved about. Everyone raves about him. Yeah. We all rave about him. We think he's generationally the greatest heavyweight. What are you on about, Frank? Well, you know that's what we do.
What do you mean? What I'm on about? You're talking about I'm not whining. I've not had a whine about anything.
Frank, just to establish one thing, it's 12:26 here in London, middle of the day on a Thursday. Are we banned at talkSPORT from attending Tyson's fights or not?
No one's banned from.
I mean, we could still make it.
Get this from? Well, get your asses. No one's banned.
Not nice language,
Frank. The fight.
I can't be banned from a fight I didn't want to go to anyway.
He's still with us.
Now with something you want to go.
I don't want to go. I've never wanted to go. I'm not a hypocrite.
I mean,
well, you don't want to go anyway.
I don't want to go. You're absolutely right. So what we don't want to be is banned in a relationship.
Simon, I don't know why you keep having an argument about it. You don't want to watch it. You're not interested in it. So that's it.
No, but what we could do before this finishes this lunchtime, what we could do is have a word with your fighter. Sorry? And have a word with your fighter. Let him know Mr. Jordan is not on the air tomorrow. He's doing other things, but I am. So why not organise Tyson for us, and I will conduct the chat live and talkSPORT tomorrow morning, day before the fight. You up for that? I'm not up for anything at the moment. I'm not going to go and disturb him about anything. But if you want me on there tomorrow to continue discussion, not a problem. Oh, and remember, Frank, we always like having you on. But let's make peace pre-fight.
You've got a great undercard fight. There's a brilliant British and Commonwealth heavyweight title fight and another 6 heavyweight. And don't forget, you can watch it on TNT box office.
All right. Just to clarify one thing. I mean, this, you know me, Frank. Tyson's team says here at talkSPORT, we're banned from attending Tyson Fury fights, covering any Fury fights ever. You're saying that's not the case?
Well, I didn't hear that. All I heard is he doesn't want the rights sold to and
his line's gone completely.
Let's see what happens after the fight.
Let's see what happens after the fight. Okay. All right. Frank, listen, thank you. I think the two are going head to head. They'll be having a chat later on in Ngannou and Fury, and we'll find out how that goes and what was said in the fullness time throughout the afternoon. We'll try and make head and tail of what Frank was saying to us, Simon, with Spencer after this short break.